Picture this. It's 11:47 p.m. You're driving alone on a road you've never been on before. No streetlights, no other cars, nothing ahead of you except two weak headlights cutting through absolute darkness and trees so dense on both sides that you can't see 10 feet past the road's edge. Your GPS lost signal about 3 miles back. You slow down near an old stone bridge. You step out just to stretch your legs for a second, and out of habit, you pull a coin from your pocket and toss it into the water below. You watch it fall, you hear the splash, and then you wait. 30 seconds pass, a minute, and then the coin comes back up, not rolling, not bouncing off a rock. It flies back up out of the water and lands right at your feet on the road, like something underneath that bridge reached up and threw it back at you. You look down at the coin, you look up at the trees, you look left, you look right. Nothing. Nobody. Just silence and that coin sitting on the asphalt, catching the light from your headlights. Now, most people who experience this get back in their car, lock the doors, and drive away as fast as they possibly can. They go home. They don't tell anyone. They just quietly decide they are never coming back to this road again. But the people who stay, the people who keep driving further down that road into the dark, that's where this story really begins. Welcome to Clinton Road, the single most documented, most reported, and most feared stretch of highway in the entire United States. Tonight we're going to go through everything that has happened here. The ghost sightings, the murders, the cults, the creatures. One event after another, each one darker and stranger than the last. And I promise you this, by the time this video is over, you will never look at a dark road the same way again. Let's go. Clinton Road, West Milford, New Jersey. Total length, approximately 10 miles. Nearest town, West Milford. Population around 25,000. Time to drive end to end, about 20 minutes in daylight. An eternity at night. Clinton Road is not a highway in the way most people think of one. It is a narrow, 2-lane road that winds through the highlands of northern New Jersey, a stretch of thick, unbroken forest that feels completely disconnected from the suburban sprawl that surrounds it on all sides. There are no gas stations on Clinton Road, no convenience stores, no diners, no rest stops. For long stretches, no houses either. Just the road, just the trees, just the dark. Think of it this way. Imagine someone took a perfectly normal road and slowly removed every single sign of civilization from it. Every light pole, every building, every indication that human beings exist nearby, until what remained was nothing but asphalt and forest pressing in from both sides like walls that are slowly getting closer together. That is exactly what Clinton Road feels like at night, and it has been this way for decades. Longtime locals in West Milford don't drive it after dark. There's an unspoken rule that most people who grow up in the area learn early. You don't go on Clinton Road at night, you just don't. But every year, people do. Tourists, college students on a dare, curious visitors who heard the stories and want to see for themselves. Some of them come back with stories they can't explain. Some of them come back changed, and some stories end differently than that. What makes Clinton Road different from every other haunted road in America is this. Local legend says that sometime in the 1970s, a young boy was playing near what locals call Dead Man's Curve, a sharp bend in the road near an old stone bridge. The details of exactly what happened are unclear, but the boy fell from the bridge into the water below. He drowned. His body was never recovered from the water. In the weeks and months after the boy's death, local teenagers began reporting something strange when they stopped at that bridge at night. They said that if you stood on the bridge at midnight and dropped a coin into the water below, the coin would come back up. Not every single time. Not for everyone who tried it, but enough times, for enough people, that the story spread across the entire county. Some people say it's the ghost of the boy, that he returns the coin as a warning, a message that says, "I'm still here. Go home. Don't stay on this road." Others say the coin coming back is a sign of something darker, that whatever is in that water beneath the bridge is aware of you, that it wants you to know it's aware of you. The rational explanation people point to is water current, a submerged rock near the surface that deflects coins back upward, air pressure from the water's movement. But here's the thing that the rational explanation has trouble accounting for. People have tested this. They've thrown coins far from the bridge, well away from any visible rock formation, into still, calm water with no current, under controlled conditions. And the coin still came back. I'm not telling you what to believe, I'm just telling you what people have reported over and over again for more than 5 decades now. Think about the last time you were driving late at night and noticed headlights in your rearview mirror. Probably nothing, right? Just another driver going in the same direction. You barely registered it. A few miles later, they turned off somewhere and you forgot about them entirely. Now imagine those headlights stay behind you. 5 miles, they're still there. 8 miles, still there. Every turn you make, they make. Every time you speed up, they speed up. Every time you slow down, they slow down, matching you perfectly, never getting closer, never falling back, just staying there in your mirror like a shadow that learned how to drive. And then you pull over to the side of the road to let them pass. They stop too. Engine running, sitting there in the dark behind you, waiting. Starting in the late 1970s and continuing consistently through the 1980s, drivers on Clinton Road began reporting exactly this experience. A large black truck that would appear out of nowhere in their rearview mirrors and follow them for miles down the road. No license plates anyone could read. No visible driver through the windshield. No lights inside the cab. People tried everything to lose it. They floored the accelerator. The truck matched their speed. They made sudden turns onto side roads. The truck followed. Several drivers reported the truck getting so close behind them that their entire car shook from the vibration of the engine. And then, with no warning, it would disappear. Not turn off onto another road, not slow down and fall back. Just vanish. Mid-pursuit, like it was never there at all. One driver, a man from Passaic County, gave a statement to a local newspaper in the early 1980s. He said the black truck followed him for just under 7 miles before disappearing the moment he crossed the county line. He said he pulled over immediately after and sat there shaking for close to half an hour before he felt calm enough to drive again. He stated very clearly that he would never drive Clinton Road again under any circumstances. He kept that promise. To this day, the black truck has never been identified. No one has ever successfully captured a license plate number. No one has ever gotten a clear look at whoever or whatever was behind the wheel. Now we go off the road, into the forest. Because if you leave the road and go far enough into the trees on either side of Clinton Road, you start to find things. Old stone structures, crumbling walls, broken foundations, archways that lead nowhere. Remnants of something much larger and much more organized than anyone would expect to find this deep in the forest. Historians will tell you these structures are the ruins of an old iron works facility from the 19th century, an industrial site that was abandoned when the iron industry collapsed in the region. That's the official explanation. But starting in the 1980s, people began reporting something else happening in those ruins at night. Hikers and trespassers who went deep enough into the forest started coming back with stories about robed figures moving through the trees after dark. There were reports of animal remains found in the ruins, arranged deliberately, not scattered like a predator's kill. There were accounts of strange symbols carved into the trees lining the paths leading to the stone structures. Makeshift altars with melted candle wax and offerings placed at specific points within the ruins. In 1994, a hiker who had gone significantly off-trail reported finding a large clearing deep in the forest that wasn't visible from any marked path. In the center of the clearing was a ring of stones arranged in a precise circle. Inside the circle, ash, animal bones, and thick layers of melted wax from candles that must have numbered in the dozens. Everything arranged with obvious intention, with obvious purpose. He took photographs on a 35mm film camera. When he had the film developed at a pharmacy, every other frame on the roll came back fine. The frames showing the clearing and the stone circle came back completely blank, overexposed, as if something had flooded those specific frames with light. He had no explanation for it. This is where Clinton Road becomes something else entirely. In the year 2000, the remains of a man named Daniel Deppner were discovered in the forest just off Clinton Road. He had been wrapped in garbage bags and left in the woods. His body had been there for an estimated year, possibly longer, before anyone found it. The cause of death was homicide. The man connected to his murder was Richard Kuklinski. If you know that name, you already know where this is going. Richard Kuklinski was a contract killer operating in New Jersey and New York for decades. He was connected to the Gambino crime family. He was responsible for an estimated 100 to 250 murders over the course of his career, though only a fraction of those were ever prosecuted. He was convicted in 1988 on multiple murder charges and died in prison in 2006. He became known in true crime circles as the Iceman, a name derived from his method of freezing victims' bodies to disguise the actual time of death, making it nearly impossible for investigators to establish accurate timelines. Investigators believe Kuklinski used the remote forest along Clinton Road as a dumping ground on multiple occasions. He chose this area deliberately because of how isolated it was, because of how rarely people ventured into those woods, because of how effectively the road's dark reputation kept curious people away. He used the legend as cover. Think about that for a moment. Every ghost story, every coin thrown from the bridge, every report of the black truck, every rumor about cult activity in the ruins, all of it, intentionally or not, had created the perfect conditions for real, documented evil to operate in plain sight. The darkness of Clinton Road's reputation had made the actual darkness there invisible. The body sat in those woods for a year. People drove the road, people stopped at the bridge, people walked paths near those ruins, and no one found it. Now we reach the part of this story that law enforcement has no file on, the part that wildlife biologists have no classification for. Going back decades and continuing right up to recent years, there have been consistent reports from people driving or hiking near Clinton Road of animals, or things that look like animals, that don't match any species known to be native to New Jersey. The early reports described something that looked like a large dog running upright on its hind legs at the edge of the tree line, moving faster than any dog witnesses had ever seen before, disappearing completely into the forest before anyone could get a sustained look. Then came reports of something significantly larger. Multiple independent witnesses, people with no connection to each other, reporting at different times over different years, described seeing a creature they estimated at 7 to 8 feet tall, dark-colored, long arms, moving with an unusual, irregular gait that didn't match any bear, deer, or large predator native to the northeastern United States. What makes these reports harder to dismiss than typical cryptid sightings is who some of the witnesses were. Among those who reported unusual animal sightings near Clinton Road were state wildlife officers, trained law enforcement personnel, people whose professional background gives them a baseline for identifying animals accurately under pressure, and they still couldn't identify what they saw. One theory that researchers have raised is connected to a now defunct private preserve that once operated in the general area, a facility that housed exotic and non-native animal species. When the facility closed, the theory goes, some animals were either released into the forest or escaped containment. Animals living in isolation, breeding across generations in a contained forest environment, could theoretically develop into populations that look dramatically different from their original species. Especially over several decades with no human management, that's the rational framework. It's possible, it's worth considering, but it doesn't fully explain the bipedal movement witnesses consistently describe. It doesn't explain the scale, and it doesn't explain why the sightings have continued this long. Clinton Road is named after a town called Clinton that no longer exists. The town was a real, functioning community. Real families lived there, children grew up there, people built lives there along this road, and then they left. The buildings came down, the structures disappeared, the population scattered. What remained was absorbed back into the forest over generations until almost nothing visible was left. You are driving through a ghost town, literally. The road you are on was once a main street with buildings on either side. The forest pressing in from both sides was once homes and storefronts and community spaces where real people existed. All of that is gone now, but the road remains. And everything the road has collected over the years, every story, every sighting, every event, it happened on land that used to belong to people who simply disappeared without a satisfying explanation. Some places carry their history. Clinton Road carries all of it. Here is what separates Clinton Road from every other haunted location you've ever heard about. It's still there. Right now, tonight, you could drive to West Milford, New Jersey, turn onto Clinton Road, and experience this for yourself. It is a real road that exists in the real world and is accessible to anyone who wants to go there. And every year, without fail, new reports come in. New sightings, new incidents, new people who went looking for a story and came back with something they can't explain. In 2019, a group of students drove to Dead Man's Curve at midnight. They threw coins from the bridge. 3 of the 4 coins came back up out of the water. The 4th did not. The student who threw the coin that didn't return said he felt like something was watching him for the entire rest of the drive back, that every time he checked the rearview mirror, he half expected to see something looking back at him from the back seat. He said it was the most genuinely frightened he had ever felt in his life. He did not go back. This is not ancient history. This is not a burned down building you'll never have the chance to visit. This is a road that exists right now, in a state that 9 million people call home, less than an hour from one of the most populated cities on Earth, and it has a documented history spanning more than 5 decades of events that no one has been able to fully explain. That's what makes Clinton Road genuinely different. You can't stay out of it by staying out of a building, it's a road. And that is Clinton Road, a story that started with a child and a coin, that grew into phantom trucks and forest rituals, that escalated to a real documented murder by one of the most prolific killers in American history. That continues today with creatures no one can classify, and a forest that has been absorbing secrets for over 100 years, each event making the next one possible, each layer darker than the one before it. That's what Clinton Road does. It doesn't just scare you once, it scares you in layers, and the deeper you go, the worse it gets. Before you leave, I want to ask you one question. What do you actually think is happening on Clinton Road? Is it decades of legend feeding on itself? People seeing what they expect to see because the story is already in their head? Or is there something specific about that 10-mile stretch of forest in New Jersey that genuinely attracts things we don't have explanations for? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one and I respond to as many as I can. This community is built on people who take these stories seriously, and I want to hear what you think. And if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. This is what we do here. We find the stories that sit right on the line between documented fact and the genuinely unexplained. We research them carefully. We present them honestly. Just the story, told the way it deserves to be told. We are a brand new channel. This is just the beginning, and if you made it to the end of this video, then you already know whether this is the kind of content you want more of. If it is, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because the next story is already being researched, and I can tell you right now, it makes Clinton Road look like a warm-up act. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you in the dark.